All right. So welcome to Something About Catholics.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Ryan. And probably missing a week in there. But I think you and I were having a conversation about potentially changing this to a bi-weekly format so that maybe we could do a little bit more in-depth research so that when we do speak on some of these different subjects, we sound a little bit more intelligent about what we're trying to convey to the audience and one another. Because the more and more I look at Catholicism and different topics that we dig into, there's so much more underneath that needs to be studied and understood to speak about things in a way that makes sense from not only a factual perspective, but just explaining some of the more difficult concepts in a way that are simple is a bit of a challenge from time to time. I don't know if you have anything to add to that or not.
It's a lot of a challenge for me, especially what you'd like to talk about today. So I feel like I might be a little bit more of a quiet partner. My voice sounds like it's quieter now. We got feedback from a couple people that I sound quieter. So,
You sound great.
But bi-weekly might be better for us so that we can be ready for the subject matter and maybe research some ways that we can be a little bit more active on social media, engaging with people, things like that. And one thing to mention is we did start an Instagram page in that social media vein. So,
Which looks really good. Jesse's done a great job with it.
thanks. If you'd like to follow us, it's our same name, Something About Catholics, for Instagram purposes, at Something About Catholics.
We could probably drop the link into the show notes, right?
Yep. And we'll also tell you there when we drop an episode too, if we do go to bi-weekly and you want to check and see if we've uploaded something.
I think the other thing that we would just ask is, I've seen a couple hosts on different Catholic podcasts and YouTube shows that I pay attention to, asking the audience to pray for them in addition to liking and subscribing. And it may seem like a simple thing and like a no duh type thing one might say, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more it makes sense, because Jessie and I continue to have conversations about this podcast and where we want to take it. And truth be told, there's a couple times that I've thought about walking away from it in the year that we've done it, just because of the amount of time it takes to edit and put together show notes and kind of bring the show to life. But every time I seem to have that thought about walking away from it, I have kind of a nagging feeling that I should continue to do it. And I can't figure out what that means, other than there's got to be a reason that we are in the middle of producing and talking about this different subject matter. So I would just ask that if you're listening, to pray for us and pray that maybe God presents us with a path forward and how to continue to do this, and or more clear guidance on what he wants us to do with this show.
I would also ask for those prayers. That's a very good way to put all of that. And I think life is hard. And it seems like most people I talk to right now are also experiencing that same thing. So we can make it a point to pray for all of our listeners as well. So the favor will be returned
Tenfold.
But we can we can definitely use the prayers if it's just the season of life or what. But I can speak for myself, but I'm definitely struggling. So
with that, today is All Souls Day. I know that I minced a couple words during our All Saints Day, All Souls Day, All Hallows Eve, the Triduum, if you will, of holy days there.
I don't think we ever said the Triduum. We just kept saying the 3 days too.
Triduum's a cool word, though.
It is a cool word.
But I've been thinking about if I were to go back in time, if I were to turn back time, if you will, how I might change that podcast around a little bit. Exactly. Yeah, I keep thinking about what a weird year it is too, because Halloween fell on Friday this year, and it's just a strange time anytime Halloween falls on a Friday, because then you have the weekend following it, and a day that's normally a holy day of obligation gets merged in with the Saturday vigil, which is what we ended up doing this particular week.
Yeah, and this year it was decided that it wasn't a holy day of obligation because it fell on a Saturday, All Saints Day on Saturday, and then Sunday being All Souls Day. You could kind of experience both in one day. So you could have Saturday being All Saints Day and Sunday being All Souls Day. You could have gone Saturday morning to experience All Saints Day Mass and anything a church has to offer. And then Saturday evening, you could have attended Mass for the vigil in preparation for today, Souls Day.
Yeah, 3 days. 3 days. So, like we said, you have All Hallows Eve, which is Halloween, All Saints Day, which was yesterday, and then All
November
Souls Day,
1st.
which is today.
November 2nd, when
And
we're
so
recording.
Today is the day that we remember all of the souls that aren't exactly saints. But I know Jess and I have been thinking about, probably in our own unique ways, people that we've lost, including the somewhat small tragedy that we had last year. But I know that's been on my mind quite a bit.
It's a somewhat small tragedy.
The ectopic pregnancy that you had.
Understand.
Mm-hmm.
There are many small things that happen in life. So which one are you referencing?
But yeah, today is the day that we remember those folks and pray for them, because we as Catholics believe in purgatory, and we want to pray for those individuals and ensure that they also get to heaven. So,
Yes. And any loved ones that have passed away.
and we've got a number of those individuals, I think, on both sides of our family tree.
We do. So we're thinking about all of them. And any of our listeners, anyone that you've lost. Last night, you also got to experience the priests wearing black vestments.
Yeah, that was interesting. Apparently at this time of the year, and I know this is crazy because I'm almost 40 years old, so if you consider the fact that I've gone through nearly 40 seasons of this Triduum, as we call it, last night was the first Mass that I've ever been to where the priest wore black vestments during this particular, what would have been a holy day for All Saints Day. But it also sounded like, if I understood correctly, that the black vestments are optional. You could also wear, was it violet?
It was for All Souls Day, not All Saints Day. They were wearing them because of what today is, All
Right.
Souls Day.
He said you could wear black, or you could wear, was it purple or violet as a vestment?
I don't know. I missed that part.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. I just think the black is cool to remember the people that we're supposed to be praying for in purgatory who haven't yet made it to heaven.
Yeah. I think that the black automatically conveys a little bit of a more somber tone.
Yeah. There was also a focus on the church militant, the church suffering, and the church triumphant.
Right.
And I don't think that concept sunk in for me as a child either.
Right.
And the church suffering are the souls in purgatory that we should be thinking about. So it was a little bit of a focus on that last night too.
Yeah, it was nice. So that was kind of an interesting thing. I don't think I've ever seen black vestments before, but it was like taken aback because it's odd to see priests, or a priest and the deacon walking around the altar in like these very dark black, almost like gold embossed vestments.
They were gold, black and gold.
Yeah, they were neat.
Very striking.
But again, I think it kind of conveys that somber tone as we kind of go through the Triduum this weekend. So
I like that we have those things to center our minds in our faith. It draws your mind to what we should be thinking about.
yeah, I think as time goes on and you mature and you kind of look at the faith and the liturgical calendar, maybe with more serious eyes, if you will, things that are standardized holidays, right? You and I have had many a conversation over the last week or two that even prior to, say, Halloween, if you go into a Walmart or a Michael's or any number of these stores that center a lot on the different holidays that happen throughout the year, many of them already have out Christmas trees and Christmas decorations, right?
I keep talking to you about how much it's driving me nuts before Halloween that Christmas decorations have completely taken over.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. From my perspective, you can get caught up in that. And, Jessie and I have had so many conversations like the ones that she's just alluded to, where it's like, man, can we just slow down for a second and kind of enjoy what is in front of us? But
we become more appreciative for the traditions that we have in our faith for that reason. Is that where you're going with that?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Got excited. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. That's exactly how I feel. And, I think, again, as you kind of go through life and you begin to become more curious about the faith and what we believe in and why we believe in the things that we believe, the liturgical calendar takes on a different meaning. It takes on a different life. And I think part of that is, we have traditional Halloween, as a country. And over the last 2 to 3 weeks, a number of podcasts that I've listened to and paid attention to, including some of what you and I covered the last time that we chatted, was, is it okay to celebrate Halloween?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, I think it's perfectly okay. And I think it's one of those holidays that we should be taking back, as I've said in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, we should be looking at it through that lens of, well, why is it important? Why is it important to our faith? And
that it's the eve of the next day too.
Exactly.
What we're headed toward. It's almost like the same as Christmas Eve. It's like that excitement, the anticipation of, for us, for Halloween, it's the eve of All Saints Day. So also seems like with how much evil is happening in the world, it can help center our minds specifically to ask the saints to intercede and pray for all of us on earth with the craziness that can happen on Halloween evening time.
That makes sense. I think that there's two ways to look at Halloween, just like there is with anything else, right? And it is a holiday that in many ways has been commercialized.
Mm-hmm.
I know Spirit Halloween is the thing that often pops up into my mind, that killer sign that kind of pops up anytime that there's a decrepit or like abandoned building or
abandoned Kmart's.
Yeah. It magically becomes a Spirit Halloween for approximately 1 or 2 months and then disappears. But you kind of pull back from that for a moment, and I find it fascinating that the word Halloween even comes from the word hallowed, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is holy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just so interesting how that's been hijacked in some way, shape, or form, and has been turned into this holiday with these different horror icons. And I struggle with that sometimes because I am a large proponent of horror movies. I think horror is probably one of my favorite genres in motion pictures, but
it's always so fascinating to me that you don't want to hardcore decorate for Halloween because of your love of that stuff. But I'm okay with it because all of that stuff scares me.
Well, I like the pumpkins, and I like some of the fall type things, but I don't love when people start decorating things in ways that are yucky, ghosts and witches and things like that. It's kind of fascinating. We've got some neighbors that have some really cool decorations up, as a matter of fact, that they've built like around trees and stuff with like witches and cobwebs, and
they next door neighbor made the witches too.
They replaced their lights around the garage with like these flickering torches, and I like all of that
That's
stuff. It's neat. It's all really cool stuff. But if you walk a little bit further down our street,
it's like life. You go.
People begin to get into like it's more macabre. It almost feels like it's evil in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not as big a fan of that. And I think part of it, is what we've already talked about regarding the fact that the origin is kind of comes from a holy place. But I think the other piece of it is I've become more and more aware as I've gotten older that children probably don't need to see that type of thing. And I feel protective of that, even though we don't have children of our own. But I kind of look around at some of those decorations sometimes and I'm like, man, I don't think I would have reacted well to that when I was little.
Yeah.
And suddenly over the last decade or so, decorations have just become so outlandish and so insane. And it's almost like not almost, I know exactly what it is. I think we've just become desensitized to, the things around us. And that's probably got a lot to do with social media and the fact that you could very easily pull up somebody getting assassinated on your cell phone. And for younger folks that have access to computers and the internet and things like that, it's commonplace, unfortunately.
Constant bombardment. It also seems like there's a want to one up each other too, a little bit. Like now that we're in a neighborhood and we can see houses across the street from each other, you can see like one person put out something like a big, tall, spooky guy. And then the next person across the street puts out a couple more decorations. It's tempting too when you're at the store and you see everything, all the stuff. It's like, oh, well, that looks cool. That looks cool too. So,
well, props to the guy in our neighborhood that had the 20 or 25 foot skeleton that he had in his front yard. And
with a leash that they made, we got to ask them about this because the leash was like also probably like 10 feet.
Right.
Attached to a dog skeleton.
Well, I was asking
probably
him,
like however many feet tall too.
I was asking him like what it would take to take that apart or like how long he was going to leave it up. And he had like a whole list of ways in which he was going to try to abide by the HOA while leaving it up. And he was like, maybe I could give it like a big turkey leg for Thanksgiving. And then for Christmas, I could put a Santa hat on it. And I applaud that. And he was even going into like, how could I like take it for Valentine's Day? How could I leave it up for that?
Put a heart on it.
But all that. And I woke up, November 1st. I took our dog for a walk and lo and behold, the skeleton was gone. So
sad. Yeah. We're not going to get to see it for the different seasons.
But impressive that he was able to take it down with little to no effort, I guess, because it's just gone.
Or it was a lot of effort, but he did it very early. That was impressive.
Yep. Or the HOA took it in the middle of the night by helicopter. But
that thing was huge. You usually see those more in like houses spread apart, but this guy, our neighborhood's a little bit closer together. This guy was basically as big as the cul-de-sac that it was on.
Well, I know he said that at one point he just forgotten it was outside and he went to go look out the window and
That's
it was like
what I'm
right
saying.
there next to his window and he jumped.
Like that alone is the reason that I can't decorate our outside with anything spooky, because I'm the kind of person that every single day I would forget that I did that. Like another thing about our next door neighbors is they have these skeletons that are like laughing, talking to each other, but they're sitting on their porch chairs. And I think that's awesome. I walk by with the dog also and I laugh. But if I were the person living in the house, I would go to open my blinds every morning and I would be like, ah!
I know there's a couple times, especially on Halloween evening, I took the dog for a walk and most of the animatronics that had been set up, and they are animatronics because I can't get over how many of these things move and speak and have like they're life size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like witches and ghouls and all kinds of other weird things. But I'm walking Leo down the sidewalk and some of these things are chattering and making noises. And you just see like even him, he's looking at him like, what in the world is going on?
It's probably the closest thing that you and I have to experiencing that through our own child's eyes.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it's really funny to see him like jump. I feel bad for him, but he got used to it pretty quickly. But there was a point where if the like statues or animatronics are his size, he stops for a second like, do they need my attention? Do they want to pet me? Do they need my love? And then, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that thing's scary.
He's out. It's interesting for sure. I think this is also, I know this is a lot about Halloween, but it feels like a lot to digest and talk about.
I think it was cool that we got to go to.
First time we had trick-or-treaters since we've been married.
Yeah, that was really fun. We ended up sitting at that same awesomely decorated neighbor's house and hanging out with people and meeting some new people from the neighborhood. They had a cool little fire pit that's movable on their driveway.
It was,
nice.
kind of a nice way to spend the evening, right? Like it didn't seem like, or at least that's not what I had envisioned during the day. But
Yeah, where we lived previously, we were more spread apart land-wise, but we didn't have any trick-or-treaters. So it was nice to be able to see kids dressed up, having fun, and then also meet some new people. It was a new experience for us.
it wound up being more of like a communal Halloween. But
I appreciated that portion because I felt sort of lonely at our other location of living.
well, yeah, I mean,
On this day, not all the time.
not many children in the neighborhood. And the neighborhood didn't lend itself either to walking around or trick-or-treating because the place that we lived, we were in a cul-de-sac, which was cool, but no street lights. So
Yep.
when it was dark, even with our front porch lights on, it was very, very dark.
Yes. You sound spooky the way you said very, very dark.
But now in this neighborhood, yeah, you've got lights every couple feet. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to have that little communal experience and meet neighbors, though, and meet new people and have conversations and, you know, also have the trick-or-treaters on top of that. So kind of a big deal,
Yeah.
even though most people out there are probably laughing about this. Sorry, I got dry throat.
Why are most people laughing about it? Because it's a normal Halloween for some people.
I think for the majority of people, it probably is. They don't even think about any of the different things that we're speaking about right now.
Yep.
So with that, I think going forward, what we'll probably do is maybe like on a bi-weekly basis, begin putting this podcast out. And what we'll do is just try to prepare better and do a little bit more digging, because I think what I'm finding is on some of these topics, we're hitting surface level. And once you begin speaking about something out loud at surface level, you find out how deep some of these topics can go. And I think as a Catholic and somebody that's really trying to learn and explore the faith, sometimes it takes going a little bit deeper, sometimes much more deeper, in order to appreciate and understand some of the concepts that we're going through. So that's something that's been on my mind, and from the sound of it, it's also been on your mind.
Yeah, I keep wondering what there is for us to learn better about our faith and the origins of some things that we have always just believed, but I don't know how to say that better. You said it well enough.
Well, that is that's what we'll probably be doing going forward. So I think that's what I have for today.
Okay. Also just wanted to say that the theme for November is the Holy Souls in Purgatory, and that's what Mass for us today on on November 2nd is about the Holy Souls in Purgatory. So
It's scary. We're almost to the Advent season,
yeah,
which is like right around the
end
corner.
of this month.
Crazy.
So you can think about that. how to prepare for Advent. And then I just like the reminder last night that one of the priests gave us to think about ways that we're praying for the souls in purgatory.
Yeah. It's always a good thing to keep those folks in mind, those individuals that have gone before us.
It's interesting how things don't always occur to me, but that is a large part of praying the rosary as well.
It is. It is. It goes back to one of the first podcasts that I think we did where you start to reflect on some of these different prayers that we do on an ongoing basis, whether it's the Our Father or Hail Mary, and you really start to reflect on the words in them.
Yes.
And I think it lends itself to this conversation.
Also seems like the older we get, the more we're holding on to that stuff for refuge and how hard the world can be.
Yep. 100% agree.
It's probably the goal anyway, to hold on to that stuff more than the physical stuff that we just mentioned.
Should be the goal. I agree.
Yep.
All right.
That's all I have too.
Well, thank you for listening. And like we said, please pray for us as we continue forward with this, and to help us to discern what God is asking us to do with this. And if it's to reach more hearts and minds, that we have the ability to do that.
Yes, very much so. And we will pray for everybody who's listening and possible future listeners. So we appreciate all of you listening and sharing with people and praying for us.
And with that, we will speak with you next time.